Buenos dias. Please rise for the national anthem, led by Professor Jacqueline Bergland, a graduate of our master's program in teaching music. She is accompanied by the Lehman Brass Ensemble under the direction of Armando Rodriguez of the college's music faculty. President Fernandez, distinguished guests, students, members of the faculty, staff, and administration, welcome to our 2013 Convocation, the traditional opening of the academic year. I am Dr. Animo Robel Sosa, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Let me introduce our academic deans and senior administrators. I will ask them to stand and remain standing, and please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Ronald M. Bergman, Vice President for Information Technology and Chief Information Officer. Vincent Clark, Vice President for Administration and Finance. Mario de la Pina, Vice President for Institutional Advancement. Jose Magdaleno, Vice President for Student Affairs. Robert C. Troy, Vice President for Enrollment Management and Associate Provost. Robert Whitaker, Assistant Vice President for Undergraduate Studies and Online Education and Associate Provost. Stefan Becker, Acting Dean of Natural and Social Sciences. Harriet Fain, Dean of Education. Marzi Jafari, Dean of Continuing and Professional Studies. Deirdre Pettipies, Dean of Arts and Humanities. John M. Holloway, Dean of Students. Gina Dominique, Associate Dean of Arts and Humanities. Sharon Friedberg, Associate Dean of Natural and Social Sciences. Gao Yin Tian, Associate Dean of Education. Frederick Gilbert, Assistant Vice President for Institutional Advancement. Renee Rotolo, Assistant Vice President for Campus Planning and Facilities. Lynn Van Voorhees, Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Studies and Study Abroad. Dawn Ewan Morgan, Chief of Staff to the President and Chief Diversity Officer. Mary Rogan, Special Counsel to the President. And finally, Lehman College President, Ricardo R. Fernandez. Let us also recognize our Grand Marshal, Professor Ann Rothstein of the Department of Early Childhood and Childhood Education, and our Deputy Grand Marshal, Professor Robin Kunstler of the Department of Health Sciences. In addition, we have two faculty marshals today, Professor James Jervis of the African and African American Studies Department, and Professor Bell Sumner from the Department of Health Sciences. And representing our incredible student body, Ms. Delanidis Janam, Interim President of the Lehman College Student Government Association. So, welcome to you all. This is a very special day. It is my second convocation as Provost at Lehman College. I believe that this year will be an exciting one for the opportunities we will have to continue with our efforts on increasing student enrollment at both the undergraduate and graduate level, expanding our student success initiatives, strengthening our curriculum development, and supporting faculty advancement. We have a lot of work in front of us as we prepare for the flood of changes affecting education in this nation, and to build an institution that will meet the ever-growing needs of our students and our region in the years to come. During my first year here at Lehman, I have been touched by the extraordinary dedication of our faculty and staff. The beginning of the academic year is an excellent moment to recognize their work, which you may or may not see, and usually gets public or little public notice. So we would like to begin today by recognizing some of the people who have played a big role in helping us along the way. This year, 3 staff members have earned the annual President's Award for outstanding contributions to the college. At this time, I ask Geraldine Day Johnson, Harriet Rosen, and Mike Bowie to join President Fernandez and me here on the stage. Jerry is one of the first people you see when you visit the Office of Student Affairs. And what you always see is a smile. Jerry defines customer service and a willingness to go above and beyond the call of duty to help a student or anyone else work through whatever problem or issue they have. To paraphrase from her nomination form, in the era of voicemail, call waiting, pass the buck, attitudinal, insensitive, and obtuse services to which some have been accustomed, Jerry is responsive, patient, kind, encouraging, tactful, and diplomatic. She greets everyone with warmth and puts her deep knowledge of Lehman to work in guiding customers through the maze of processes that are commonplace in large institutions such as ours. She is highly respected by her peers, students, and managers, everyone on campus who regularly come to her for guidance and inspiration. And she extends that inspiration to work off campus by volunteering for many organizations and collecting school supplies for backpacks for kids. Jerry is always ready to support others who may be having trouble. Thank you, Jerry, for your outstanding service to Lehman College and to our community at large. Rosen began as an assistant in the English department as a second language program and is now a valued member of the Office of Academic Standards and Evaluation. After so many years at Lehman, she's become quite knowledgeable about the rules and regulations that go along with grade changes, the appeals process, and undergraduate advising. Sometimes her tasks might seem unsurmountable, but she gets it done with clarity and grace. Recently, Ms. Rosen has dedicated time to launch the CUNY First in her office. She took on these new responsibilities with enthusiasm and has embraced the new technologies that it involves. I believe most of us now appreciate the patience and energy required for that. She has become known throughout the college for her work ethic, keen sense of responsibility, and dedication to getting things done right. In the words of her nominator, she's a trooper. Thank you, Harriet Rosen, for your commitment to Lehman College. He's one of those people that is invisible to many on campus. He keeps a low profile, but his work keeps the engines running. Mike got his master's degree here at Lehman and started as an intern in information technology. Most people in IT specialize in one of two areas, but Mike can do a little of everything, and it's all performed at a very high level. He is a huge contributor to many of the major IT initiatives. Mike developed the college's password manager in-house, so we don't have to keep those passwords written on our palms anymore. He manages the college's virtual server environment, more than 40 servers, meeting the campus's needs without having to pay for extra hardware. Mike is also in high demand by CUNY Central, or CUNY headquarters, for his innovations and knowledge and ability to work his way through difficult technical problems to arrive at solutions. Thank you, Mike, for your valuable service to CUNY and to Lehman College. At the beginning of each year, we welcome our new and returning students and our new and returning faculty. The faculty at Lehman have a history and a tradition of dedication. This fall, we welcome 21 new full-time faculty members to join us in this proud tradition. Our faculty teach, advise, and mentor their students. They challenge them to think critically and creatively, and work to make sure they succeed and achieve their dreams. Our annual Teacher of the Year Award honors that spirit of excellence and achievement, and calls attention to faculty members who have demonstrated an outstanding degree of commitment. For 2013, the selection committee, made up of students and previous recipients of the award, chose Professor Jeanette Tilley of the Department of Music as Teacher of the Year. Professor Tilley has taught at Lehman for nearly 10 years. Her work focuses on the intersection of music and religion, especially in 17th and 18th century Lutheran Germany. During her years at Lehman, Professor Tilley has come to be held in the highest regard by her students, to whom she dedicates hours to develop the skills and habits that will help them navigate in a changing future, and has earned the enormous respect of her colleagues. For example, she was invaluable in helping to reform the undergraduate sequence for music majors last year. In 2009, Professor Tilley was recognized with an Excellence in Teaching Award from the Arts and Humanities Division for her hard work on the music history curriculum. This year, Professor Tilley, it is my pleasure to congratulate you as Lehman's 2013 Teacher of the Year.
Very much, President Fernandez, Provost Maribel Sosa, faculty, staff, but most of all, Lehman students. It's truly an honor to be recognized in this way, but it's really the hard work of all of you, your dedication and your determination, Lehman students, that makes my and all of my colleagues' work here so continuously rewarding, stimulating, challenging. And I think that the Teacher of the Year Award is really an opportunity for me and for all of us to reaffirm our commitment to you, to helping you to grow as individuals, to learn, to develop the skills that you've come here for. And with that comes a commitment for me and for all of us to continue to learn and to grow as teachers and as mentors. And so I'm reminded of something that a music professor said to me when I was an undergraduate. Life, he said, is too short to practice what you already know. Okay, musicians, practice your technique, but add something radically new to your repertoire. Challenge an old idea. University is the most wonderful, transformative place to experiment, and let's all feel that thrill, maybe that terror of practicing something new. Thanks.
Congratulations to all, and thank you for your hard work on behalf of our students. We are truly at a crossroads for higher education. It is changing before our eyes. What do these changes in education in New York City, in the United States, and around the world mean for Lehman College and our approach to educating young minds? It is now my pleasure to introduce President Ricardo Fernandez, who is beginning his 24th year as president of Lehman College, to present the state of the college and an assessment of the state of higher education.
Thank you, Provost Morobel Sosa, and good morning to you all. It's a joyous occasion, and I'm very pleased to be here with you. I would like to share with you some thoughts about the college, where it now stands, and where it's headed over the next several years. May you live in interesting times. When you hear that phrase, some people refer to it as a Chinese proverb, you have to wonder, are they wishing you well? Or, as some people think, is it a curse? But one thing is certain, and that is that it applies to us, because we are certainly living in interesting times. And the times we live in are rife with revolutions. We have social revolutions, we have political revolutions, and we have revolutions in technology. However, the revolution I want to talk to you about today is a different kind of call to arms. The revolution I'm speaking of is the revolution in higher education, and its epicenter is in the United States. It is a seismic shift that will have an impact on the lives of Americans and people across the world. The challenges to higher learning have never been greater than they are right now in the 21st century. Post-secondary education has never been more important, and that is why we need to discuss the value of an education and, to be perfectly frank, to redefine what a college education means. New metrics are now being introduced into the debate. This debate is taking place nationally and internationally on the meaning and value of a college education. There's strong evidence that a college degree will be a major factor in determining a graduate's lifetime income, regardless of the career path that she or he chooses. Over the course of a lifetime, it is estimated that an American with a baccalaureate degree will make significantly more, as much as $1 to $3 million more than an American without a college education. And a graduate and professional degree will bring even greater economic gains for the holder. So the great divide in the 21st century in this economy will be the divide between those with a post-secondary degree and those without one. Getting a college education has never been more competitive. But the good news is that more Americans are enrolled in higher education and earning degrees. According to the Chronicle of Higher Education, 600,000 more baccalaureate degrees were earned in 2011 than in 1991. Looking at the numbers by field of study, nearly 60,000 people earned a bachelor's degree in the health professions in 1991. That figure, 20 years later, is 146,000. For those earning undergraduate degrees in biological and biomedical sciences, the numbers went from 40,000 to 91,000. And it's not just the health professions and the sciences. Bachelor's degrees in philosophy and religious studies increased by 75% in the last 20 years, while overall liberal arts and sciences degrees increased by more than 50%. So the thirst and the need for knowledge and determination of students to get a college degree have never been greater. Fortunately for us in higher education in this state, the Empire State, for the past 2 years, we have been the beneficiaries of an agreement between the city university and the state university systems of New York and our political leaders in Albany. I'm referring, of course, to what is known as the CUNY Compact. First enacted in 2011, the CUNY Compact is a 5-year blueprint for support that has guided the city university system as well as the state university system colleges through these difficult economic times. This year, we are in the 3rd year of the CUNY Compact, which involves a commitment by New York State to cover mandatory increases and other costs while requiring CUNY to increase its productivity and to raise private funds, significant private funds. Modest, predictable increases in tuition are also required of students. The compact is the main reason why CUNY and Lehman College are on solid economic ground today. It is one of the reasons that we have been able to add 41 tenure-track faculty positions since 2011. It is also one of the reasons why this semester we have one of the strongest freshman classes, academically speaking, in over 20 years. Joining our college this semester are 598 new freshmen. These are students coming directly from high schools. 1,730 transfer students from community colleges and other institutions, and 615 new graduate students. These students are living proof of why the U.S. News and World Report ranks Lehman College once again as a Tier 1 institution among regional universities in the North. And once again, Lehman has been ranked by the same magazine as a top 40 public college in the North. And I'm happy to note that for the 2nd year in a row, we are number 5 out of all regional universities in the North, both public and private, for students graduating with the least amount of debt. That's really something. This indicator considers the economic realities in which we live and what the U.S. News calls the payback picture. To me, these rankings show that Lehman is an institution on the rise that's giving students a great education at a great value. But as we look to the future, we have to prepare for life beyond the CUNY Compact, which ends in 2016. It has helped us build our college on a financial foundation, but in an ever-changing world of public higher education, where support hinges on the health of revenues coming into the state treasury and the decisions of elected officials, in a world in which technological progress often outpaces political solutions and creates new economic necessities, where does that leave us? The answer is complicated, with no easy solutions. But what is absolutely necessary is that we have to address our need to address these challenges, and we have to do that starting right away. The future, Malcolm X once said, belongs to those who prepare for it today. Or, to quote a different individual, Abraham Lincoln, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Here at Lehman, we want to create our own prosperous future and not leave it to the vagaries of the marketplace or economic downturns. But before we can map out our future, we have to carefully review our present. And we must do that by taking a fair and honest assessment of ourselves, our strengths and equally important, our weaknesses. Who are we? We do many things well, but what do we excel at? This is a question many colleges are now forced to ask themselves. In a post-Great Recession, high-tech and service-oriented economy, with unrelenting pressure to reduce costs and keep college affordable, coupled with increased competition for students from public, private, and now increasingly for-profit institutions, where does Lehman College fit in? Like all colleges and institutions of higher learning, Lehman needs to respond to the economic landscape of the future. That means that Lehman College must evolve to reflect the changes we confront not only in New York City, but beyond. And that evolutionary process must begin immediately, because tomorrow is going to be too late. Evolution, simply defined, is the modification of an organism through external forces. But we cannot wait for change to be forced upon us. As new fields of knowledge are discovered and academic programs are created in the coming years to respond to national and global workforce priorities, we would find ourselves at a distinct disadvantage if we allow others to fill the vacuum created by our failure to act. To avoid finding ourselves in that situation, we need to engage in a process of thorough planning and careful consideration of our goals as laid out in our strategic plan for the current decade. And this process requires all of us to be involved in order to better respond to the needs of those we serve. It means taking a hard and honest assessment of all aspects of our operations, including academic programs, student support, faculty and staff, research facilities, administrative services, campus facilities, fundraising, and our outreach to the community. Recognizing that we need to establish priorities that are aligned with the realities of our students and with state and national needs and their future employers. And acknowledging that we cannot be all things to all people. As a first step to begin this assessment, early next month, 4 faculty members from Lehman will be participating in a 2-day workshop on planning and program assessment, along with the Provost, the Vice President for Finance and Administration, and the Director of Institutional Research Planning and Assessment. Upon returning to Lehman, they will become part of an extended process in which the Lehman community, especially faculty, staff, administrators, and students, will engage in a process to apply the knowledge acquired to assess our strengths and weaknesses, review programs and services, as well as the human and fiscal resources that we have and what we will need in order to craft a path for Lehman College to follow through the end of this decade. There are 3 additional areas that we're going to require special attention over the next few years, and I want to talk a little bit about those. Those are distance education, international education, and what is commonly referred to as branding. Let's begin with distance education. Consider this. In 1995, less than 1% of the world's population had internet access. By 2010, almost 30% of the world's population was using the web. And by 2030, it's estimated that more than half of the world will be online. Students who previously had limited access to education are finding that the information they seek is often only a click or 2 away. Think about this. The students beginning at Lehman College this year do not know of a world without mobile phones. When I came here, I remember I had a clunker in the car and they had to have an antenna. It was a different world, literally. These students may not remember listening to music on a CD. You can just get it on the internet. When was the last time you, faculty, people like me, my age and younger, listened to music on a tape? You know, I have a bunch of tapes and I can't even find a place to play them. I have to convert them now into something else. And forget about listening to an 8-track cassette. So most students here would not have a clue as to what that is. Our students, having grown up with the internet, cell phones and computers from a very young age, are already way ahead of many of us in their comfort with new technology. And their expectation is that their college or university must keep pace with the advances in information technology. Now at Lehman, we're well underway to doing that. Already, 15% of our courses are either entirely online or hybrid, a combination of online learning and classroom instruction. In fact, at Lehman College, we have twice as many online classes as our nearest CUNY competitor. But we have to develop new ways to incorporate technology into our classrooms and throughout all our academic offerings and in our pedagogy. Digital natives learn differently. So our teaching methods must evolve in order to promote learning among all students. Now I want to be very clear. Distance education is not a panacea, and it will never replace face-to-face interaction. I believe in that, and we will always have that, and that has to be a quality, because certain things happen in a classroom that cannot happen online. At least that's my belief. But it does have a role, and an important role, in higher education, in helping reduce costs and make information accessible to adults who cannot come and don't have the time to participate and need the credentials that they can obtain through that means. So, whether in our School of Arts and Humanities or the School of Natural and Social Sciences or in our new School of Human Services, Health Sciences and Nursing, and we're looking for a dean, we expect to have a dean in place next year, the digital experience must be an integral part of the learning experience, wherever the students may be located. And as we become more mobile, today's students, as well as faculty and administrators, must think globally to compete in today's economy where work flows across borders like radio waves fly through space. The third area I want to talk about a little bit is international education as a focus. As we look to the future, we must recognize that national and geographic borders are quickly becoming irrelevant as technology continues to make a global village smaller and smaller. This is a challenge on many levels, not just for Lehman, but for all of CUNY. Given its location, New York City, it's very surprising that very few students in CUNY study abroad as part of their education. In fact, according to a recent study, only about a little over 1,500 students, or about 1.5% of CUNY's undergraduates, study abroad now. So, under the leadership of Dean Marzi Jafari, who now oversees international programs, we've taken steps to improve those disappointing figures. For years, we've had Lehman students who have traveled abroad to countries in Africa, Mexico, Central America, the Caribbean, as part of community service projects. And they will continue to engage in similar projects abroad and in different parts of the United States. Small groups of students for many years have also participated in study abroad. But in the years ahead, we will redouble our efforts to raise funds to send more of our students abroad. This past June, we signed a student exchange agreement with Nanyang Polytechnic in Singapore, which will enable a number of their students to spend their senior year at Lehman. In this first year of the program, we have 3 students from Nanyang. This agreement will also allow Lehman students to apply for a scholarship, and 6 of them will spend a week at Nanyang Polytechnic in January 2014 and will gain from that experience of having studied abroad. This past August, we welcomed 6 undergraduate students from Brazil in a program called the Brazil Scientific Mobility Program. These students, who are studying in the STEM fields, have been provided with scholarships by the government of Brazil, covering all of their expenses. Upon completion of their program, they're going to go back to Brazil to complete their degrees. This is a large and ambitious project which involves hundreds of students studying at colleges and universities in many countries across the world. And Lehman is honored to have been selected to participate by the Institute of International Education, which is the organization that administers this program in the United States. Among the Brazilian students studying at Lehman, one is concentrated in geology, another is specializing in computer science, 4 of them are in nursing. In the fall semester, all of them will be enrolled in an intensive ESL program, followed by courses in their areas of specialization. It's important to note that many of our students have dual citizenship and speak 2 or more languages, which positions them to be more competitive in a global economy after they graduate college. In the 21st century, being bilingual or multilingual will certainly be a distinct advantage, just as failing to understand the diversity of the world will put students at a disadvantage. Fortunately for us, situated right here in the Bronx, one of the most diverse counties in the United States, we have a sense that our students really have a home field advantage. And as the only senior college in the Bronx, we continue to attract students from around the city, around the country, around the world. Lehman has made a very strong public commitment to improve our campus, our facilities especially, which is why we built, among others, a magnificent science hall, which officially opened this year, the first science building to open as part of CUNY's Decade of Science. And Science Hall is the first, and so far the only, building in CUNY that has received LEED Platinum. LEED means Leadership in Energy Environmental Design, which is the highest possible rating by the U.S. Green Building Council. This is the first of 3 phases that will recreate this campus and college, and along with our partners, the New York Botanical Garden, the Bronx Zoo, and Montefiore Hospital, will remake the Bronx into a hub of scientific research whose impact will be felt far beyond our borough. Now, the 4th and final area I want to touch upon requires us to focus on the distinguishing features of an institution of higher education, its identity, the image that it presents of itself to the outside world, its brand in the parlance of marketing experts. We must take a close look at the perceptions that our current students, our alumni, our potential students and their parents, as well as the general public, what they have, those perceptions they have of Lehman College, about the quality of our programs and of our graduates, of the services we provide, and of the overall impact that the college has had on the community. That means the borough and the city and the region. The result of this process will be the creation of an identity that will serve to differentiate Lehman College not only from other CUNY senior colleges, but from all colleges, public and private, in the region. We seek to better identify ourselves to answer a key question. What will a Lehman College diploma mean for our graduates who go on to build a career in the 21st century job market? And not just one career, but multiple careers. The days are over when someone got a job fresh out of college, stayed there for a whole bunch of years, and then collected a gold watch and retired somewhere. That just doesn't happen anymore. It's not unusual today to expect that many of our graduates are going to hold a dozen or more jobs in their lifetime. Think about it. And that is precisely why we have to prepare students not just for their first job, as many schools say, but for their 5th job, or maybe their 10th job. Now, how do we do that? That means that a Lehman College education has to be more versatile than ever before. The classes we offer and how they are taught must be more innovative, and our outlook on the world has to be more global than ever before. And what does that mean for our students and our faculty? It means that it is crucial for them to develop the critical thinking skills that will allow them to adapt to whatever challenges come their way. IBM recently polled 1,500 CEOs from 33 industries in 60 countries and found that the most valued skill for an employee to have in our ever-shifting economic and business landscape was creativity, thinking out of the box. What does this mean? This might mean, for example, that in years ahead, degrees such as a Master's of Fine Arts, MFAs, might become very much sought after, perhaps as much as the MBAs that are beginning to fade as credentials. Corporations look to new ways to innovate in dealing with old problems and with new challenges. And that is why a liberal education, regardless of the major or academic focus of students, must be a key component of a 21st century education. The Association of American Colleges and Universities has made it a focus of attention and has launched a national campaign. It has also enlisted several CEOs of major US corporations to promote liberal education as a foundation for a business career. Several years ago, with support from the PepsiCo Foundation, we started a liberal arts and business program to give our students a broad-based education that will serve them throughout their lives, wherever they may work. And that is why, for example, we have a visioning committee that is charged with developing the concept of what the curriculum could be, particularly the undergraduate curriculum of a potential school of business at Lehman College, and what it might look like in order to prepare the business leaders and entrepreneurs of the next several decades. We are very proud of what we have done here at Lehman College, but this is not the time to rest on our achievements. The challenges we face, the students, the faculty, the administrators, are complex and not easily set aside. But in order to be more competitive and to give our students the best education we can, we must confront the challenges facing us. Because it's not enough for us to be good or simply adequate. We are good. In fact, we're very good at many things. But we must seek to be exceptional in a number of areas in order for Lehman College to thrive in the 21st century. This will happen amidst an uncertain, ever-shifting economic landscape and political climate. That is the ultimate challenge we face, but it's one that I have every confidence we can and we will meet. Thank you.
Thank you, President Fernandez, for your thoughtful assessment of how we will need to adapt to the changes in higher education and for your inspiring remarks. And thank you all for attending. This concludes the 2013 Convocation. I hope you will join us for a reception in the faculty dining room. Please rise and remain standing until the academic procession is finished.